guys, Kenny here, and it is about 25 degrees, 24 degrees, and I'm going out for a little ride, and I think I'm going to my local motorcycle shop, the guys at OVC, to sit on a bunch of bikes. They said I was welcome anytime to go check them out, so I thought I'd go sit on some bikes now that I've got my M. I've been thinking about, you know, what's next on my motorcycle journey, and you know, I think the thing that I've been doing and what I've been going on and enjoying is a lot of these, I don't know, you call them micro adventures on this Bullet 350, and just being on wheels in general. So I know that I've recently reached the 100 subscriber timeline or milestone, so that's pretty cool. So thank you guys for keeping on with what I'm doing. Also, one thing I want to mention, this is going to be a very scatterbrained kind of video, because I really didn't have an agenda. All I knew is I was going to go to my local shop, maybe try and sit on some new bikes, maybe some bigger bikes, see how I like them, think about what my next moves are for, you know, motorcycling, and my thoughts are really just like, just want to go on these little adventures. I haven't got a lot of time to go on epic rides, you know, having small kids and all, and but I thought I'd talk a little bit about my experience doing my M course through RTI, the Riders Training Institute. The day started off with us meeting at a donut shop, and we went on to a small industrial crossroad. It was one-way flowing, both directions flowing traffic, and the intersection had 2 stop signs. So you were gonna go stop, you would either make a right or left, or you continue through, and then the lanes in front of you that cut through don't have stop signs. So basically, intersection, 2 stop signs rather than 4. We did so many drills just going back and forth. So, you know, left turn, stop sign, right turn, stop sign, getting on tracks. And then we moved on to group rides through some residential and some commercial. And group rides there were 5 of us, 1 instructor, and we kind of switched positions up and down the slot to kind of get some observations made, I suppose. And it was that took up at least a good 3-4 hours, and then we went on to highways, which again we took our numbers in the slot. We rode as a group, so got some good group riding experience in, and it was a lot of fun. A little exhausting, but it was a little fun. It was quite a bit of fun. Learned a lot, and I believe if you are kind of rusty, especially on these preparations, especially when it comes to assessing situations, signaling, turning, and then, you know, closing your actions, whether it's doing blind spot checks or finishing your signals. It was really great in like nipping at those habits. A couple of bad habits I had were apparently not doing my left blind spot check, but also I shifted gears a lot through through the intersections. So I tend to do that a lot, and I think that could be partly the nature of this bike. But now that it was corrected, I do realize like it is possible for me to like go through intersections, just rev it up high and let it wind itself out. That seems to not be an issue, just a habit I got to correct on my end. Yeah, the test itself was surprisingly pretty uneventful, aside from the marks I racked up, but it's all said and done. But overall, I did find experience really, I learned a lot. And once I got to the MTO, it was a Saturday that I passed my test. I walked into my MTO after getting my email notification that they had sent me my certificate. I had my full M on a Tuesday. No, today's Tuesday. So as of yesterday, Monday, I was able to walk into my Service Ontario and change my license over to M. What was interesting was while I was in my testing center, they had clocked me for my full 22 months without realizing that I did my my M2 through a rider course too. So I should have been cleared to do my M and achieve my M in a little over 18 months. So they had to look me up and adjust for that, which took a little bit of time, but that got sorted out. What else? I still haven't done my moto camping yet. Packed, ready to go, looking to do that. But probably not if it starts getting way too hot. I know you may have noticed in my previous videos I talked about right-hand turns, and I mentioned this to my instructor, and a couple things that helped with these right-hand turns is practice a lot of emergency stopping. So it got for me to a point where like I was able to come to a stop at a stop really quickly, basically stop enough to like I almost dipped my fork a little bit. Plant your feet down, assess the situation, and go quick. And it also doesn't hurt to, when you come out to a stop sign, park a little bit on an angle. Stop at a bit of an angle, and that helps you avoid that stress of having to make that huge turn at slow speeds, and you're already angled optimally to like secure all the positions you had to look out of and take off from there. So those two tips, I hope it helps for anyone who's still having those right-hand turn dodginess, I guess. Feeling a little bit of a rain. There are some drips coming down. I wonder if I should abandon my ride at this point. It looks like it might pass fairly quick, so I think I'll plug on ahead. A little light rain. This is a lovely stretch. This is by Rockwood. I used to have fears of going over the edge here into the water on a motorcycle. Every time I visualize myself riding along here, but this is a little turny, goes uphill a little bit, and there's no guardrail, so you know you can see right into the water. I'm doing like way legal, so I'm not too concerned. So are most cars. It is a fun little corner by Rockwood Conservation Area. And I kind of generally like the character of this bike and the pace. You know, one of the things was like, wow, am I going to be like wanting a bigger bike? Not right now. I love having
stress-free rides. The way this bike accelerates, the way it moves, I could just take in the scenery. And I think as a photographer, it's what I enjoy. I like exploring. I like going my route, doing things my way at my pace. And there's a saying that photographers tend to have really long lifespans, and there's probably no truth to it, but there are elements of it, I think, that contribute to your longevity. And I think about it once in a while here and there. One thing for sure is that as a photographer, there's a lot of logistics. You're always navigating some kind of space. You're working in real time with real situations, and it's just good for the brain. I think photography and brain plasticity a totally healthy thing, and I do feel like photography is one of those things that can make you very present, and in a lot of ways motorcycling does that also as well, for me and for a lot of riders, I think. I'm not sure if I notice things more or less as a rider, but I do look for reflections. I do find myself finding reflections in cars interesting, and I use it as a way to gather more information. It sounds pompous, but sometimes I do recognize reflections, and I use them to my advantage. Speaking of reflections, I'll tell you the one thing that scared the shit out of me is I haven't done a lot of low light riding, sunset, things like that, and there was a couple times where man, I was riding along and I saw shadows move alongside beside me, and it freaked the shit out of me, to be honest, because I was so not used to riding by a source of light and having shadows creep up on you and creep past you. So one of the things I want to do as a new rider, as a new fully licensed motorcyclist, is to ride sunsets more often. I'm not saying I'm going to dive right into it. Usually a lot of things go on at night. You're hanging out with the kids, having dinner, but a few more sunset rides I think would be nice, just to kind of enjoy the experience, but also just learn about riding in those situations where light isn't optimal. But man, this is my happy zone. This is lovely. This is fantastic. I love riding out in the country, just taking my own time, looking at the landscape, smelling things. Look at all the stands with all the shit they're trying to sell, and I never stop. I should, but I never do. And I realize I'm never carrying any cash. But there's eggs to be had out here, firewood. I've seen flowers, garlic, although not as often. Here's one. Here's a farmer's market. Field to table, farm fresh eggs. I do need eggs at home. Maybe I will stop on the way back. But then again, oh shit, I don't have cash. I'm sorry, I never carry cash. Maybe I should make a habit of just storing some cash on this bike. I really ought to. There we go. I missed my turn. I'm gonna make a little U-turn. Double check your left.
We got some rails here. Look at that. Looks like this one's getting worked on. This one looks quite old. Now this one looks pretty spanking new. Little gas tank. Covers for the cab. I like that the oil filter is just a screw on right there. You can easily access the oil filter there. Okay, so 650 Royal Enfield Classic. Let's see how I fit on this. Hefty. Yeah. That's it. Tippy toeing it. Got to do a little bum scooch to even plant my left foot down. So slightly higher than the Bullet 350, but I can't get the balls of my feet down. Big bike for me. So we got Super Meteor 650. This one's not for sale, so it's retail. Oh, that's so much better.
That's $7.50 each. Food costs about $1.50.
Yeah, so you make me $5 easy.
Yeah, and so. Gord's a real nice guy, but he's about as smart as a Cocker Spaniel, and he owns a fucking food truck.
I'm glad you said it, because I was thinking, I went and talked to him, and he's a nice enough guy, but I was trying to do very good, I opened up on Saturday. I said, why don't you come over, I'll pay you for the food you sell. And he said, okay, you have any that can work? I said, we always have food from 11 to 1. We're not going to do it all day long. And then you can go to wherever you want to go at the end of the day and sell the rest of the food.
Yeah.
And he would not give me a price or a commitment or anything, so we'll find something else.
I suggested that we switch the juke joint over to just have pork.
Yeah.
And he said he wants a $200 minimum. We're 100 people. You're not going to have two every single man home.
You know, I think the Bullet 350 sits better for me. Let me show you again. I can actually plant the foot of my feet down. However, if I'm stopped, that riding takes time to use to. I think that for control. But yeah, much easier. But I do suspect it's the seat that's a little bit lower.